Before we start the meeting, I shall just check with trustees who are attending. Trustees, when I call out your name, please let me know if you are online. Trustee Johan Chanara. Okay. Trustee Agnew, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Trustee Powell, are you online? Trustee Powell? Trustee McGuire, are you online?
Yep, I'm online.
Missing anybody else? Okay. Call to order. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Halton Catholic District School Board on Tuesday. We have guests. Check. We have guests in the boardroom, so welcome to our meeting. Before we begin our meeting, I'd like to wish trustees and all HCDSP students and families a blessed Easter season. May this season bring you and your families joy and new beginnings. With this, I shall now pass the floor to Director Klein. Director Klein.
I just wanted to say this is an interesting day in that we have the passing of our Holy Father Pope Francis, and for many of our many professionals in this board, a good part of their career has been Catholic educator with Pope Francis as the Bishop of Rome and the guide to our universal church, and for many of our students as well, a good part of their life has been spent under his leadership as the Pope. So you'll notice that our flags are at half-mast. You'll notice that, in fact, we're notified today too that government offices and all of those that would represent the official capacity of the government of Ontario will have their flags at half-mast, and that traditionally would go until the day of the funeral, which my understanding is on Saturday. There have been lots of, I think, in the news and podcasts and other media opportunities over today and certainly over the next few days where people will discuss what his impact has been. And I would think that for 12 years as our faith leader, he's had a big impact on the Halton Catholic District School Board, on the Church in Canada, and the Church Universal. In terms of his legacies, I think one of the ones that would stay with us as a Catholic education institution, I would hope would be his focus on a word that we probably didn't hear too much in a generation or more, and that was the idea of synodality. So and I think there was probably a lot of confusion over what that meant or what it didn't mean. But for me, I think it's something that resonates. His insistence that no matter where we are, no matter what forum we're in, when we're encountering any others, that we are there to listen, and to listen with profound respect, profound openness and fearlessness to the possibility that we might be changed by that encounter. And I think that is something that resonates with all of us as the baptized, who are baptized to be priests, prophets, and kings, and to proclaim a gospel of liberation and of freedom. So I do think that that is an important legacy. The other legacy I would like to point out was his focus on humility and focus on a church that is a church that he talked about, a church that reaches out to the margins, that looks out for those who might feel that they are disenfranchised, that they might be the outsider, or whether they were people who were struggling in boats or rafts or pieces of flotsam and jetsam trying to get across the Mediterranean for safety's sake, whether they were prisoners, whether they were those who were marginalized in terms of their sexuality, whether they were marginalized in terms of all other means. And I think that's a real great message to all of us and to all of our children, the ones that we have now and the ones that have graduated, that is a call, and the call of a Christian is to be courageous and to respond without fear and recognize that our God is a merciful God and all-loving God. So we'll pray for him, and we'll pray for our church. And I just wanted to mention that because it is a historic moment for all of us.
Thank you, Director Klein. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed and will also be posted on the board's YouTube channel. Trustees, in order to be recognized, please use the hand up feature in Teams to be automatically placed in queue. And please remember to turn your desk mics on when you speak. We move on to item 1.1, land acknowledgement, the opening prayer, the Our Father and national anthem. And I ask staff to start it off with the land acknowledgement. Sorry.
Halton, as we know it today,
is rich in the history and modern traditions
of many First Nations in the Métis,
From the lands of the Anishinaabe
to the Attawandaron,
the Haudenosaunee,
and the Métis. These lands surrounding the Great Lake
are steeped in Indigenous history.
As we gather today
on these treaty lands,
our Catholic social teachings
call us in solidarity
with our Indigenous brothers and sisters
to honor and respect
4 directions: lands, waters, plants, animals, and ancestors
that walked before us.
All these wonderful elements of creation exist,
gifted to us by our Creator God. We acknowledge and thank
the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation
for being stewards of this traditional territory.
Thank you. Student Trustee Yeboah, could you please lead us in the opening prayer, the Our Father and national anthem?
Yes, thank you through you, Chair. So with the passing of the Holy Father, Pope Francis, I actually just want to do a prayer for him. So if you all join me in signing the cross, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, you entrusted the care of your church on earth to Pope Francis, and now you have called him to yourself. We ensure his soul to your boundless mercy. For his lifelong service, we thank you. For his care for the poor and marginalized, we thank you. For his witness to simplicity, we thank you. In your mercy, draw him into the light of your presence. Grant him the vision of your eternal essence into which we all long to be drawn. Protect your church in this time of transition. Guide the cardinals in their sacred duty, and grant the wisdom, courage, hope, and charity, and faith they need to discern your holy will. Now, if you'll also join me in saying the words that Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thank you, Trustee Yeboah, for the opening prayer. Item 1.2, motions arising from in camera. We did not go into camera, so we did not have any motions from in camera. Our next order of business is the approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions to the agenda, and do trustees want any item removed from the consent agenda? I see Trustee Carabella, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to take out 6.1.2.3, Policy V15, Environmental Stewardship.
Thank you, Trustee Carabella. Any further amendments to the agenda? Seeing none. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended? Looking for a mover, please. Moved by Vice Chair Murphy. Looking for a seconder. Trustee Carabella. I'll take it to a recorded vote. Trustee Carabella.
In favor.
Trustee Powell. Trustee Powell. Trustee Powell, are you there? Trustee Kennedy.
Favor.
Trustee Ohonchanada. Trustee Ohonchanada. Vice Chair Murphy.
In favor.
Trustee Kelly.
In favor.
Trustee Saunders.
In favor.
Trustee Agnew.
Favor.
Trustee Filbert.
In favor.
Trustee McGuire.
In favor.
Yeboah.
In favor.
Trustee Powell, are you there? Trustee Ohonchanada. Saying trustees are not there. We have 6 in favor, none opposed, no abstention. Motion carries. The agenda is approved as amended. Our next order of business is declarations of conflict of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest to be declared tonight? Seeing none, we shall move on to our next order of business, which is presentations. Item 4.1, senior staff updates, special education services. Director Klein, please introduce the presentation.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to, in a moment, symbolically, I guess, pass the mic over to our Superintendent of Special Education, Superintendent Jack Caldera, who will invite a couple of staff here to give us a bit of an update on some of the, there's so much going on in special education that it's difficult, I think, for the choice from us to narrow down what we would want to share. But tonight I will again provide for you the opportunity to again see all the good things that we're up to, and I'll ask the superintendent to begin.
Thank you, through you, Chair. It's going to be just me, but I have moral support. I have backup dancers, so. So this afternoon, this evening rather, we'd like to share with you the work of the mental health team here at Halton Catholic District School Board. It's been my pleasure to lead this department, and the mental health team is made up of staff members from across several disciplines, very lifelike bitmojis of us all. And every school board has a mental health team that works closely with School Mental Health Ontario to help ensure that student mental health and well-being is a priority through the system-wide activities and the provision of evidence-informed strategies. Chanel Bernier, who is here today, is the Senior Manager of Social Work and the Mental Health Lead. Rhea Shin is the Senior Manager of CYCs. Oliver Foze is the Senior Manager of Psychology. Kim Dawson is the itinerant CYC for Mental Health, who's also here. Jenna Produce is the itinerant social worker for mental health, and Ashley Fliss is the special education consultant who supports mental health initiatives in our board. So we've gone from 2 members to a robust team of 7. Slide, please. So working with School Mental Health Ontario, the HCDSB mental health team develops a 3-year mental health and well-being strategy. The key priority areas in the current 3-year strategy are student mental health and well-being, mentally healthy learning environments, and inclusive mental health support and services. So I'll just touch on each area. So the student mental health and well-being seeks to ensure that students have an awareness of mental health coping strategies and know how to access supports, engage in social emotional learning, and participate in mental health leadership opportunities at their schools and across the board. Mentally healthy learning environments includes the ongoing use of the tiered model of intervention to address student needs and to build capacity across the system, so support services and educator staff, as well as students and caregivers, have a better understanding of mental health and well-being. And the final area, inclusive mental health support and services, is our ongoing commitment to sharing resources that are inclusive and culturally responsive. We foster strong home and school connections and collaborate with community-based supports to ensure that students can access the supports that meet their needs. So you'll see here our annual action plan and our visual of our tiered support. And the 3-year strategy is operationalized each year through the annual action plan. The guiding framework of this year's action plan includes priorities in the areas of engagement, mental health literacy, and the tiered model of intervention, as well as inclusive mental health supports. Key actions across these 4 priorities include increasing student participation in planning and executing mental health awareness activities, sharing information with parents and caregivers, collaborating with community partners, supporting student learning through the mental health literacy modules that are offered in grade 7, 8, and 10, expanding the mental health toolkit for HCDSB staff, utilizing evidence-informed and culturally responsive interventions, and piloting and scaling up new interventions supported by School Mental Health Ontario. And on the next few slides, we'll show you some of what the mental health team has been involved in this year. So you'll see here, the Mental Health Champions has been a very well-received initiative and continues to grow and expand across all our schools. Starting in the 2022-2023 school year, the goal was to expand student voice and engagement. Each high school sent 2 to 5 students to participate in a full day of learning and collaborations. Students discussed ways to enhance mental health awareness and various initiatives happening in their schools. The students then brought back their learning to their schools to determine a priority and plan for a school-wide well-being initiative. And one example can be seen here. These are students from Bishop Redding who planted flowers before exams to reduce stress. So this is how it started. And if we look at the next slide, we can see how it's going. So we're happy to share that in just a few quick years, all secondary schools, with the exception of Thomas Merton, have at least 2 student champions, and the program has grown again this year and expanded into the elementary panel. 3 event days have been planned by area. Oakville was last week on April 10th, Milton and Georgetown, and Acton on April 24th, so that's Thursday, and Burlington on April 30th. Secondary champions have taken the lead in planning and facilitating presentations and activities with the elementary champions who are in grades 7 and 8. Topics include social media safety, transitions to high school, and how to access mental health support. The secondary champions shared helpful tips and ideas of how their younger counterparts can look forward and take after their mental health. All HCDSB elementary schools have signed up to participate, and we are excited for this new phase and expansion of the champions. Give some pictures from our event that took place on April 10th. After learning about how to look after their well-being, the elementary students participated in some well-being activities they could eventually lead in their own schools. From left to right, you'll see students completing the My Circle of Support resource booklet, which is a resource from School Mental Health Ontario. This pocket guide helps students identify and write down different sources of support they can reach out to at any time. The next picture shows one of the team building activities that all the students participated in. In the third picture, you can see students filling up a poster of gratitude jar with different positive messages. And in the final pictures, the elementary students are reporting to a large group what mental health initiatives are happening in their schools and family of schools. This was a great way to share ideas so that all schools can implement different activities throughout the year. This was just the first Elementary Champions event for the Oakville area schools. The Georgetown, Acton, and Milton schools will be meeting, as I mentioned, later this month. And we are very excited to see what these champions plan for their schools next year. Gratitude Jars activity that the champions led was so well received by everyone in attendance, we are planning on sharing this activity board-wide. Over the coming weeks, the mental health team will be sharing a poster-sized version of the gratitude jar and suggesting ways that the poster can be used in schools. Each school will be encouraged to have the poster in a high traffic and visible area so that students can regularly see positive messages and reflect on all that they have to be grateful for. We are hoping to launch this for the first week of May, which is Mental Health Week and Catholic Education Week. The mental health team has also been busy speaking with schools and staff about different ways to support student well-being. One example is Holy Trinity Secondary School, which held a wellness fair in April and invited members of the mental health team to attend. Both Kim and Jenna, the mental health team itinerant CYC and social worker, set up a booth with different well-being ideas that students could practice on a daily basis. So you'll see the t-shirts give them away, but you'll see that they're there. And it was a really positive event. On to the next slide. Earlier this year, the mental health team partnered with curriculum and health and physical education staff to provide training to teachers who are doing the mental health literacy modules with their grade 7 and 8 classes in elementary and in the careers course in secondary. Training was offered in both semesters and was provided both in person and virtually. This staff development session included foundational learning about mental health and well-being, as well as a deep dive into the content of the modules so that educators could comfortably and confidently deliver the lessons. These modules were created by the Ministry of Education and are mandatory learning about mental health and well-being, coping strategies, substance abuse, noticing support is needed for themselves or a friend, and how students can seek help. Hopefully, I know it's a bit small, but every month the mental health team creates 2 newsletters, one for staff and one for parents and caregivers. Each month focuses on a different topic related to mental health and well-being and has suggestions for activities and links to more strategies and resources from School Mental Health Ontario. And as we wrap up, there are several ways to connect with the mental health team. We are planning a September 2025 launch of a mental health website that will be a resource for students, parents, caregivers, staff, and community partners. Watch the HCDSB website and the mental health newsletters for more information. In the meantime, all staff have access to the mental health toolkit on the OLS. It includes ideas for activities for Mental Health Awareness Week and resources from School Mental Health Ontario. We can also be found on Instagram, where we post information about mental health and well-being, ideas for self-care, and coping strategies. And finally, thinking ahead, moving to our annual action plan for the years 2025 to 2028. Before this busy school year comes to an end, the mental health team will be completing the development of the next 3-year mental health and well-being strategy. As we look ahead, the key priority areas will be to promote diverse student voice, strengthen parent and caregiver engagement, enhance staff capacity and confidence through professional development and resources that promote mentally healthy learning environments. We also want to collaborate with community agencies and the coterminous boards to strengthen the multi-tiered system of care. The development of this strategy will hopefully lead to the creation of a very reflective and intentional annual action plan for the 2025-2026 school year. And both the 3-year strategy and the annual action plan will be posted on the HCDSB site by June 30th, 2025, as is required by School Mental Health Ontario and the Ministry of Education. That's all we have for today. I do have my friends at the back if there's any questions or if there's any.
Thank you for your presentation, Superintendent Jack Caldera. I was waiting patiently to hear some more information, but we open the floor to trustees. Trustees, do we have questions, comments for Superintendent Jack Caldera and the team? Please raise your hand. Trustee Philbert, you have the floor.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Not so much a question, but just a comment. I know that a lot of students really appreciate the heightened impact of mental health and having access to all of these resources, especially like I'm grade 12 and it's midterm season. So I know that a lot of students around me and even those I know in elementary school really take advantage and really enjoy seeing all of these. So I just wanted to say Thank you from a student perspective, and you guys are doing great.
Thank you, Trustee Filbert. Trustees, any further questions? If not, Superintendent Jack Caldera and your team. I know your team of 7, but it's a bigger team at the back there. Thank you so much for all the wonderful work that you do in our schools. I really appreciate that, and we want to keep hearing more feedback from what you do at in the schools. By the way, where did you get that jar? I need one myself. Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much for your presentation. Really appreciate that. We now move on to our next item is delegations. We do not have delegations tonight. We keep moving down to our next order of business is consent agenda items. Items 6.1 is an action item and 6.2 noted items. We have removed one item out, 6.1.2.3. I will now read the motion. There will be no discussion on the noted items. And no discussion on the action items as well. I will read the motion. Trustee, online trustee, who's that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think you just answered my question. I had a point of privilege because you guys couldn't hear me, but my speaker was incorrectly configured. So you can hear me now, right?
Hear you now, yes, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, I was talking about the consent agenda. I shall now read the motion. Resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board approve consent agenda items 6.1.1, 6.1.2.1, 6.1.2.2, and 6.1.2.4 as submitted at the April 22nd, 2025 regular board meeting. May I have a mover, please? Trustee Saunders moves. Trustee Carabella seconds. I'll take this to a recorded vote. Trustee Powell? Are you there? Trustee Kennedy?
Favor.
Trustee Ohan Chanara?
I'm in favor.
Vice Chair Murphy?
In favor.
Trustee Kelly?
In favor.
Trustee Saunders? In favor. Trustee Agnew?
Favor.
Trustee Filbert?
In favor.
Trustee McGuire?
In favor.
Dubois?
In favor.
Trustee Carabella?
In favor.
Trustee Powell? Trustee Powell, are you there? We have 7 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. The consent agenda carries. We shall now move on to action items. Action items number 9. We have one item pending, which has been removed from the consent agenda. Item 9.3, policy V-15, environmental stewardship. Trustee Ohan Chanara, could you please read the motion? Can we have it up on the screen, please? Trustee Ohan Chanara.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the Halton Catholic District School Board accept the recommendation of the Policy Committee that policy V-15, environmental stewardship, be approved.
Thank you, Trustee Ohan Chanara. Trustee Ohan Chanara moves this motion. This item has come to the board from policy, so we do not need a mover or seconder. I will now open up Trustee Carabella. You asked to remove this item.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a discussion at the policy meeting and I voted against it for a reason of not agreeing with the term referring to the earth as being sacred. So I just want to vote against it. I will not put on the amendment.
Thank you. So I will just take it to a recorded vote then. Okay. So we are going to vote on item 9.3, which is the policy VI-15. It's come from policy, so we do not need a mover or a seconder. Trustee Kennedy, how do you vote? Oh, you would like it? Can we have the motion? The motion just moves the policy to the board meeting. Okay, Trustee Kennedy?
In favor.
Trustee Ohan Chanara?
In favor.
Vice Chair Murphy?
Opposed.
Trustee Kelly?
In favor.
Trustee Saunders?
In favor.
Trustee Agnew?
In favor.
Gilbert?
In favor?
Trustee McGuire?
In favor.
In favor.
Trustee Carabella?
Opposed.
Trustee Powell? With 5 in favor, 2 opposed, no abstention, motion carries. The policy passes. We shall now move on to item number 10, staff reports. 10.1, North Oakville number 3, Catholic Elementary School budget approval. Superintendent Merrick, please present your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. We have the project budget for the North Oakville number 3 school. The project was funded back in January, and it is slated for a 671 pupil place school with a 5-room childcare center. The funding allocated by the ministry was approximately $32.7 million, and there's a breakdown of that in Appendix A. So staff will bring one resolution for consideration at the May board meeting, and that will be to approve the project budget as funded by the ministry at roughly $32.7 million. Happy to take any questions that trustees may have.
Thank you, Superintendent Merrick. Trustees, do we have questions for Superintendent Merrick? No questions. Thank you, Superintendent Merrick, for your presentation. We shall now move on to item 10.2, Our Lady of Victory Catholic Elementary School additional budget approval. Superintendent Merrick, please present your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we have a similar report here, but for a building addition at Our Lady of Victory School in Milton. This project was also funded by the ministry back in January for a 265 pupil place addition, plus a 5-room childcare center at the current Our Lady of Victory School on Commercial Drive in Milton. The project was funded fully by the ministry for just over $13.2 million. Again, there's a breakdown in Appendix A. Note that on this project, we're adding on to an existing building. We've done recent renovations at OLV, so we don't expect there to be a lot of other things to do there, but there could be some renovation work that we work into the existing building as we do the new addition there as well. Any of those costs we'll bring back to the board in the fall when we do our facility renewal projects, but we may have to do some work just to kind of make it contiguous throughout the entire building. But we'll bring that back for future approval once we get the full design package done and know the full extent of those works. So we'll bring forward one resolution for consideration at the May meeting for this project as well, and that would be to approve the project budget as funded by the ministry at just over $13.2 million. But again, any questions trustees have, I can take.
Thank you, Superintendent Merrick. Trustees, any questions for Superintendent Merrick? Online, any questions? Seeing none, thank you, Superintendent Merrick, for your presentation, for your report. We shall now move on to item number 11, which is our next order of business, which is information items. 11.1, Director's Report. Director Klein, please present your report.
Thank you, Chair. We'll just skip along here. Okay. Good. So the Bay Area Science and Engineering Fair, called BASF, it's a prestigious event that celebrates the achievements of our students who are in grades 7 to 12 and from the areas of Hamilton, Halton, Six Nations, Brant, Haldimand, Norfolk counties. So outside of those areas, it's not really a possible event. And there are a series of awards that are given to those students who participate in terms of their creativity and their collaboration. One of the things that's important to remember is that when we have these events, which are might seem like they're extraneous, they're not. They're all connected to the Ontario curriculum. So if students are doing things, it would be something that connects with the science curricula. And that should be the case with anything they're doing outside of the classroom. And of course, this year we have upped our accumulation of awards, and we had 18 student awards. And again, we've gone up from 11 to 15 and then 18 this year as well. Something that I've been able to visit and see in action, I know some trustees have seen them as well. I know the chair has. But I saw a couple of weeks ago at the University of Waterloo some amazing students and team members and creative forces from Loyola who worked hard to increase their ranking and then end up at the team championships, which were about a week and a half ago. The three teams that are of note from our board are the Firehawks from Loyola, who placed 9th, and then a team from Holy Trinity, which placed 23rd, and a team from Bishop Redmond, which ranked 48th. These are not just students who have a focus in, let's say, engineering and electronics, but it's the whole 9 yards in the sense that we have some students are there for marketing part of it, some are there in terms of other business components of it. So it really gives the truth of the matter. Whenever there's a great endeavor, it's never restricted to just one or two people who you might think are the ones who carry the weight. A true, awesome, diverse, energetic, fantastically creative group of people. One of the ones that was a highlight, I hate to highlight people not from our board, but when I was at the University of Waterloo a couple of weeks ago, there was a wonderful team from Manitoulin Island, where that team was dressed in a traditional garb as well. And again, it was a great opportunity for them to come to Waterloo and I would think very likely look at a university where some of them might end up going someday. And of course, doing all the wonderful things that we do when we get to university and end up doing for the world what we all want from our students, which is to make a better place. So I wanted to highlight that as well, and also pay thanks, of course, to the staff that again is very large, and some parents too that help work with those students, encouraging them, because from about Christmas onward, it is intense in terms of the work that they do. And it's fun to see those robots go at it and achieve things. It's a little violent, but it is fun to watch. Heroes of Hope. We're all very aware that we're in the Jubilee year, and the themes of the Jubilee year are pilgrimage, solidarity, humility, and human dignity. And to embody that, we have the call for nominations for those to be Heroes of Hope, recognized again and promoted by the Diocese of Hamilton. And throughout March and into April, schools were able to nominate people as well. The areas where you would try and identify someone in your school who would be nominated as a Hero of Hope, obviously it's a lot of subjectivity, but that would be a person who shows a commitment to building relationships that are rooted in love and peace, someone who somehow exemplifies in their daily interactions the Ontario Catholic School graduate expectations that all of us in Catholic schools strive to achieve, and acts of mercy through service and compassion, which is part of our call, our baptismal call. The nomination period has closed, and on the end of the month, schools will share their community's Heroes of Hope on the website, and we hope to be able to highlight that in the month ahead, and you'll be able to see it on our board website as well. We are building schools apace, and it's also good to look back and see that we have some schools hitting some significant anniversaries. 25th is always an important anniversary. And in order of the celebrations, we have Sacred Heart, St. Teresa of Calcutta, and St. Andrew. There'll be celebrations at those schools, often connected with the parish communities as well. And of course, trustees are invited to attend. And again, a good way to celebrate how for over 25 years, those school communities have worked with parish and worked with families to, again, to teach our students not only the basics of reading and writing and others as well, but to form them in terms of their faith. Other awards focus on our parents and our parent involvement committees. The board depends on our parents in order to be fully successful. And CPIC, which is the Catholic Parent Involvement Committee, is holding nominations, which closed, I think, today, I'm guessing around 4 o'clock, for the award of Volunteer of the Year. That recognizes volunteers who play an integral role in building the vibrant, caring, and inclusive school communities across this board. And like I said, nominations will be accepted, and then we will highlight who the winner is when we get the chance to do that in the weeks ahead. Speaking of CPIC, as you're aware, through the year and through the years, if you've been here long enough, have you been able to go to some of their parent or other information sessions that always speak to issues that would be of concern for parents. And the one that is coming up on April 30th next week is one that focuses on vaping awareness. And the presentation will be there at Holy Trinity at that time. It's primarily for parents. However, if you have children ages 12 or older, they can come as long as they're accompanied. And of course, they are able to be looked after. This in-person session will provide an overview of the rising concerns and health risks associated with vaping, and address how parents and guardians can speak to their children about the harmful effects of vaping. And there is a link in this and in the report that was given to you about how people can register for that event. And we look forward to that. They're generally very well attended. And again, they come from the needs that are articulated through CPIC, and we know it will go very well. Finally, we have, as we did the last director's report, just want to highlight, and when we do this, we don't diminish the fact that there's often accolades given to staff members throughout this region that I might not be aware of or might not be able to prioritize. So I do want to highlight the fact that Jillian Federico, who is of course known to all of us here, is our system chaplain and faith formation lead, has been given a prestigious award, and that's the King Charles III Coronation Medal. I, for one, am still struggling to recognize that we have a King Charles III. We was at a workshop today, and there was a picture of Queen Elizabeth still there. So that's some didn't quite get on to the shift that occurred 3 years ago. But that is a great honor for Jillian. And if you know Jillian, to be recognized by His Royal Highness is of special significance. She does have a great loyalty to the Crown and a great loyalty to the traditions of the Crown, and in particular as they connect with the military and those who have served, do serve, and the memory of them as well. And in particular as well, the cadets that are looking for that as a career or not, but have enjoyed the camaraderie and the discipline of being in the cadets. Jillian is also a great advocate for interfaith dialogue and reaching out to our, not only our other sisters and brothers in the Christian faith, but those who come from other faith traditions as well. So this is a great honor for her, and we do applaud her work. Thank you.
Thank you, trustees. Do we have questions for Director Klein? Thank you, Director Klein, for your presentation, and please pass on our congratulations to Jillian for receiving this award. It does mean a lot to her and to us too. So please pass on our wishes to her. Thank you, Director Klein, for your presentation. I see no questions. We shall move on to our next item, 11.2, 2024-25 budget, September 1st, 2024 to February 28, 2025. Superintendent Lofts, please present your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. Please find attached our 2024-2025 budget report ending February 28, 2025. Andrew Kapling, our manager of, he's at the back there, of financial reporting and accounting, or I will be available to answer any questions. But first, I'd like to draw your attention to a few items. So as outlined in the report, HCDSB is forecasting a balanced result as of the end of February. However, as we approved at the last board meeting, we plan on using about $100,000 for building security and about $614,000 of our reserves for technology in the schools. So thus, as we are as of the end of February, we have revenues at about 51.5% and expenses at about 49.1%, both within the 50 to 60 range for our fiscal year midpoint. So while external factors such as Bill 124 adjustments pose challenges, staff has proactively adjusted our forecast. So I want to look at a few revenue items. So revenue. So we have a $3.7 million decrease in EDC revenue and this stems from timing differences in municipal collections. EDC forecasts are based on historical trends, typically 3 years of data is what we use, and economic slowdowns and project delays are beyond staff controls. So our EDC volatility is an industry-wide challenge. However, this will not impact our operating budget as EDC revenue is used to offset past site purchases of the board. We also have 0.6 million increase in interest revenue. And this has resulted from higher than expected bank balances due to conservative cash flow budgeting. So forecasting interest is challenging given rate volatility, but this surplus strengthens our financial position, contributing to the 266.4 million in revenue, and thus part of our 51.5 million in revenue that we talked about earlier. On the expense side, we have about 57.3% spent on fees and contractual services. Even though this is within the 50 to 60 expected range, it does reflect the front loading of some of the contracts that are essential services for our essential services like facility maintenance and IT contracts. The expense supports 180.4 million in classroom spending by ensuring safe functional learning environments, and thus is part of our total expenses of 254.2 million, which are part of our 49.1% of our budget, which is below the expected range, showing overall cost control. Now, the other big item that we have here is our Bill 124 impact and our contract adjustments for this year, so which is noted on Appendix A2. So this was very complex due to the ongoing arbitration. It was a big part of the fall for us, as well as the retroactive payments that we paid out, which was happened after our original budget was done in June. The revised budget does account for this, which again shows the work that was done within the finance department to adjust the budgets for the revised estimates. And then finally, our amortization expense has increased year over year as a result, which is outlined in our notes, relates to our 3 new schools that were put into service in 24-25. If you compare though the expectations at revised, it is in line at 50% to date. Mr. Chair, that concludes.
Thank you, Superintendent Lofts. Trustees, any questions for Superintendent Lofts? Trustee Kennedy, you have the floor.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I might have missed the thing on about the textbooks. So I noticed that textbooks, they're up in special education, down just generally and off about. Can you direct me to the page there, Superintendent Lofts? I think it's 90. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Trying to find it for you. Yeah. A1. Hold on.
Yeah. We have Mr. Cross here. So would you like to?
I'm not sure. We're just trying to find where.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. It's not A1. My apologies. A2. Yeah. So it's 553,202. $553,000 less than what we anticipated on the December vote. Yeah.
And through you, Mr. Chair, Andrew, if you're available to jump in, I believe this was the reallocation of, where we had the money at year end, or sorry, at revised estimates that we had to reallocate out from where initially was put through to textbooks and supplies and then reallocated out to staff development. But I need to verify that just to make sure, Mr. Chair, to Trustee Kennedy, and we can send an email out to confirm that. What that was. That's what I'm thinking right now, Trustee Kennedy, but I don't want to comment fully on it until I get the actual information on it.
Thank you.
So we'll get something sent to everybody.
Thank you. Any further questions? Go ahead.
So just a question on staff development. So I see that went from originally 1.55 million to 2.6 million, and now it's 3.2 million, all within a very short period. So that's up 21% or 564,000 at A3. Why would that be the case?
It relates kind of to the previous, I guess, one that we're going to be, we'll get back to that 563, why it did go up. We did get, and I know I don't want to speak out of turn here, but we did also get more REP allocations that may have factored into this. So REPs are formerly PPFs, which were formerly EPOs. So that could be part of it as well, but we'd have to get that information back to you.
Thank you, trustees. Any further questions?
Yeah, so just my understanding, so trustees vote on the budget in December. I can see it's really there's only really two things that materially changed, which were the textbooks. We spent less. But when we're spending more on an expense, 560,000, 21% on, maybe there is more REP. But, you know, if trustees are voting to spend 2.6 million and it just changes to 3.2 million, why do we vote on those numbers? Like, if it can just arbitrarily change like that. If we get more money, fine. But how much do we actually get in total, like for our REPs?
Do we have answers now? Or?
No, I guess it's part of the same question. Trustee Kennedy, I don't have that information here right now.
So trustees will, Superintendent Loft and his team will get back to us with this clarification. Thank you. Any further questions for Superintendent Lofts and team? Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent Lofts and team, for bringing this report to the board. We shall now move on to item 11.3, capital projects, September 1st, 2024 to February 28th, 2025. Superintendent Lofts, once again, please present your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. Please find attached an information report updating HCDSB's major capital projects for the period ending February 28, 2025. Projects are tracking as anticipated, and this report has been submitted as information, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent Lofts. Once again, trustees, do you have questions for Dr. Collymore or on the report? Sorry. Oh, that's the next one. Okay. Dr. Lofts. For Superintendent Lofts, yes. You can see it's been a long day for me. Yeah. So, trustees, any questions for Superintendent Lofts on item 11.3, capital projects? Trustee Ohan Chanara, you have the floor.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Director Klein and our Superintendent Lofts. When we get this package last Thursday, what is the mechanism you'd like us to use? There's a lot of information in there, and I'd like to understand what's the best thing to do to get information on certain line items. Should we call you? Should we send an email? How would you prefer that communication to happen?
This question is regarding the previous item or regarding capital project?
Really both, Chair Dwart. So if we have questions before, what's the best mechanism? I'd like to know how they would like us to ask our questions prior to the meeting. If I have any questions, I'd just like to know how they'd like us to ask those, through email, phone call, or both.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Chair. The custom has been, Trustee O'Hearn Chernada, that trustees would, through the chair, to the director, ask a question regarding these matters. The caveat being, I think, in terms of the response from staff, is that the focus is broad strokes in terms of budget, and not necessarily the minutia of operational items. Chair, I'm not. That's my understanding. We've discussed this a few times with staff, and I think with trustees as well.
Thank you, Director Klein. Just to add to that, Trustee Ohan Chanara, yes, trustees are encouraged to write to staff through the director. Staff reports to the director and copy me for follow-up as chair. And staff is very happy to support trustees, and I've seen that in the past. So that would be a good path.
Thank you. I'll use that in the future. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Trustee Kennedy.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on that. So I appreciate that. Not to get into minutiae, just high level numbers. What would be the expected turnaround? of maybe an email.
Trustee Kennedy, turnaround, it all depends on what you're asking for. If you're asking for something in detail, then I would say it should be a board motion. If you're asking for something where we go back and check records, and if it's something really quick, which staff has been helpful in the past, turnaround can be a couple of days. But when you ask something, be sure and specific in your request, because we are short-staffed in accounting. We all know that, and we need staff to be efficient in the work that they do. So if your questions are to the point and very short, I send quick responses. But if you want something detailed, then it should be a motion to the board, and trustees agree that it's important to trustees, and we vote on it and pass it to director client. So that's the mechanism generally, right? So, sorry?
So just a few days if it's a simple.
Yeah, if it's a simple, straightforward question, yes. But if you're going to go into details where staff has to take time and do research and involve others, then for sure it needs to be a motion.
Thanks.
But I've always seen quick responses where answers where the question is straightforward. So I encourage trustees to please get in touch with Superintendent Lofts through the director, and that's how we move forward. Thank you. I see no other hands up, so thank you, Superintendent Lofts, for presenting a report. We now move on to 11.4, and this is the 2025-26 Budget Consultation Survey Report. Now, Dr. Collymore, please present your report.
Thank you. Good evening, and through you, Mr. Chair. The purpose of this report is to provide the Board of Trustees with a summary of the feedback received from our 2025-2026 Budget Consultation Survey. As part of the board's annual budget process, each year we do hold a public consultation using a survey methodology to seek feedback from our stakeholders. Through this process, we ask stakeholders to identify key areas where additional investments could make the greatest impact within our 4 key priority areas. This year, the survey was available online from March 18th to April 1st, and the survey included several open-ended questions wherein the respondents could provide us with written feedback. In total, this year, we received just over 1,330 respondents. Most of the respondents were HCDSB parents or guardians. The research staff analyzed just over 4,000 pieces of feedback that we received by way of a thematic analysis. We provided the main themes and several sub-themes for you in the report, which is included in your package. And we've also included the full survey consultation report there as well. This feedback has been shared with the senior team and discussed with this team. It's also been shared with business services team, who is going to review it and incorporate it accordingly as they plan for the next school year. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Collymore. I shall now open up the floor to trustees for questions. Trustees, do we have questions for Dr. Collymore? Trustee Carabella, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I don't know if Dr. Collymore will know this, but I was going through some of the questions, some of the feedback about the textbooks, that they're they would like them updated or have more textbooks to decrease the reliance on paper and photocopying. So I mean, this isn't specific for the feedback. I just like to understand what's happening with the textbooks in our schools.
Thank you. I'll pass it to Superintendent Lofts and then Superintendent Kroll.
Thank you. And maybe and through you, Mr. Chair, to Trustee Carabell, maybe I'll start with just the funding aspect of it. And I know we talked about this in the fall or in the springtime, but I do have additional information as well regarding our textbooks and computers. I'll focus on those two because those are some of the big ones that you see. So I think I mentioned back before when we met in the springtime that we used to be in 2910 elementary textbooks and learning. We were funded at $69 per student back in 2910, and we're currently at $70.59 for 24-25. So you can see that was an increase of 2.3% over that period of time. Inflation's over 40% during that period of time. So from a funding perspective, it hasn't kept up with what the cost of goods are. But I did find some additional information afterwards, and in 7-8 we were actually funded at $80, so higher than we are right now. So $80 per student for elementary textbooks and learning supplies. Similarly for computers, exactly the same, 2.3. In 910, we were at $34.52. We're currently at $35.31. So it increased 2.3%. I found the 7-8 one, it was actually at $46. So about over almost $11 difference. So this is obviously impacted over the course of a number of years, and it's some of the things that we've been mentioning before, that these are things that are impacting the services we're able to provide. So when our funding doesn't keep up with inflation in these areas, it has an impact. So that's part of what we've been saying. I've been saying this for a number of years now, and the data hasn't changed. So we don't know what we have for this year. It possibly could change for this year. So we don't have the core ed funding, formerly known as the GSNs, as of yet. So I can't share what it is for this year. But in the past years, at least, I can share that with everyone. Just it makes it difficult when everything's going up.
Thank you, Trustee Carabella. Follow.
So follow up, just to understand. So
sorry, Superintendent Kroll.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I can just add, part of what's changed, Trustee Carabella, is that we've had a number of curriculum changes going back to 2020. So new science curriculum, new math curriculum, new grade 7 and 8 history geography curriculum. But there haven't necessarily been textbooks published to support those curriculum changes. So there is no grade 9 science textbook for the new curriculum, and the textbook that existed for the previous curriculum has been delisted by the ministry and is no longer available for use as a core resource. Similar for math. So part of what our strategy is internally then is we're starting to develop our own resources using our own teachers and curriculum staff as writers. So we have a writing project that's starting next week to support the grade 9 D-stream geography, for which there's a new curriculum, but no textbook. No publishers released a textbook. So I wouldn't say it's a matter of there are textbooks out there that we aren't purchasing because we don't necessarily have the funds. It's more that there aren't textbooks to purchase in the way that there may have been in previous years. Certainly going back to when I was a classroom teacher, when I taught grade, science, there was a textbook for grade 9, grade 10, but when the curriculum changes, publishers aren't necessarily keeping up with those changes and providing those new resources. So I can understand why a stakeholder such as a parent might say, I'm not seeing a textbook, but the reality is there's no textbook to purchase at this point.
Thank you. Follow up?
So is there an estimated time when a textbook would be ready, or are they even getting away from that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's difficult to speak specifically for what a publisher might be interested in. I know that there is some development around some grade 9 math resources to support the de-streaming. Superintendent Skripka could certainly speak more to that, but we haven't heard any news for using the grade 9 science as an example. We haven't heard any news from any publishers that they're publishing, looking to put out a new grade 9 science textbook. Where we have made purchases, where we are seeing textbooks being developed, is to support the religion and family life curriculum. So the grade 1 and grade 2 resource has been recently published. The grade 9 resource will be published for next year, and we're certainly looking to invest in those resources.
Thank you. I'll go to Trustee Ohan-Chanada and come back to you. Trustee Ohan-Chanada, you have the floor.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Dr. Collingmore. I may be feeling a little optimistic, but I feel like 1,330 responses is a pretty good, fulsome response this year on that survey. How does it compare to other years?
Dr. Collingmore?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for the question. So we certainly had more responses this year than last year. So we had about 217 more respondents. But as I mentioned, there were over 4,000 unique responses, and that's quite a good chunk of feedback that we have and that we provided for you in the appendix.
Thank you. Trustee Ohan-Chanada?
No, just a comment. That's great, Dr. Collingmore. That's really the voice of our community. So that's great. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I'll go back to Trustee Carabella.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So when the textbooks are available, we can only spend the money that's enveloped for textbooks, or if we deem we need these textbooks and instead of $70, they're $80 or whatever, do we take funds from somewhere else to fix that, or we only can use funds for textbooks?
Superintendent Kroll?
Sure.
Or, go ahead.
Sure. I would say that through you, Mr. Chair, we would look to find funds elsewhere to support textbook purchases that students need, beyond what we're given. But that would come from, again, anytime we're taking funds from somewhere else, we have to be looking at what are we cutting back on. But I can't think of a resource where we've decided we're not going to be able to afford that, so students are going to go without.
Thank you. Trustee Kennedy?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Are you able to put any of the comments on the screen to ask a question?
Oh, you want to put the comments up, the report?
Just ask one question about one of the comments.
Sure.
It's on, there's a lot of them. Page, it's either 111 or 2, they have 2 numbers on the page, 111 or 228. I don't know how.
Page 228 on the entire package.
Yeah.
Trustee Kennedy?
So it would be 1, 2, 3. The fourth starts with access to paper. I'm not going to read it all. But basically what it's saying here, I mean, that looks like it's a teacher that has responded, saying that they're trying to support students daily by providing them with everything they need. They're tracked by their consumption of paper and amount of photocopying, and that teacher has to provide the students with paper and pencils that they have purchased on their own, and they shouldn't have to worry about this. Do you have any comments for the director on this? Is this something that's happening? Is it pervasive? Anything we can do to support if this is the case?
First of all, I would comment on that. Sure. I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that this is from
I'm just asking.
A teacher, and Dr. Collingwood could correct me. This is an anonymous response, I believe, and it's a comment from somebody who is involved with our system. So, Director Klein, if you want to comment on that.
Sure. Sorry, can you just refer to the one again? Which one?
And maybe I can get help from senior staff too.
Yeah, I think we'll start off by saying, first of all, we don't, again, to echo what the chair has said in terms of the veracity of this or the accuracy of it. One doesn't know, but I can tell you that if there are concerns, there are more than one or two ways that people can get clarity or rectify that or raise their concerns to either principals or to the board itself. And I'm not sure if Superintendent Kroll has anything to add to that as well.
Certainly, through you, Mr. Chair. The former principal, I can tell you that was my responsibility to manage both my board budget, so money that was allocated to me, and certainly in terms of paper, consumables, classroom resources. Every teacher's given a budget in terms of the consumables that they need. Every teacher's given sort of an allocation of paper that we think, correct me if I'm wrong, Superintendent Loss, we did increase the paper budget for this year in the 24-25 budget as well, as a response to teachers saying that they felt that they needed more. So we're certainly working with principals to make sure that they know how to best use their board budget at the school level to make sure that schools have, those teachers and students have access to the resources they need.
And again, Trustee Kennedy, this is part of the survey. You're going to get a variety of responses, and I thank everybody for giving their responses and feedback. This is something that staff is going to take and try to digest. So the whole purpose is to collect feedback. We collected the feedback here. Superintendent Lofts.
Thank you. Through Mr. Chair, to Trustee Kennedy. And it kind of goes back, Trustee Kennedy, to what I just spoke of 10 minutes ago. Photocopying has gone up tremendously, going back to 2008-9. Computers, as you know, it's no longer the luxury it once was back in 8-9. It's part of our day-to-day. As you know, we brought back the last board meeting to actually spend more money on our technology in the classroom. So we brought back $614 $100,000 to allocate across the system from our reserves, from our own savings to address this issue. So there's some other, I guess, points that kind of raised it. You asked to comment on it, so my comment on it.
Thank you.
It's just because, sorry, Mr. Chair, because in the previous budget, it saw that textbooks and supplies went down. And then I see comments that they don't have supplies, so it kind of, that's what I was wondering.
Thank you, Trustee Kennedy, for your questions, and thank you, trustees. I have one question here, Director Klein. My question is, I've gone through that report, and I want to thank everybody for giving their input. There's some themes that really stood out for me, and the main thing is STEM, STEAM, technology. I counted those words. So 421 times the word STEM, STEAM has been used there. Faith formation, professional development, people have identified that as priorities. So how do we take all this information that we have collected, and how do we translate that into the upcoming budget and for the next year? How are we planning to use this data for future planning?
Thank you, Chair. So the answer is we begin work right away, and we also have one very important missing gap. That is, we still have not heard from the Ministry of Education with regard to what we have in terms of funding, and not just the overall amount of funding, but any of the connections, ties, restrictions within those as well. And so we need that's obviously desperately important. But you are right to look at the feedback from the budget survey is important. I would also say the other thing that is important is to have that aligned with and relative to the multi-year strategic plan that this board of trustees that is in front of me worked to create just over a year and a half ago, and is really the guidepost for what we do moving ahead. So that's extremely important. And the other, I think a key plan also is the student achievement plan, which is really focuses on the goals we have. But we have other plans as well, but they all fall within the multi-year strategic plan. So we'll look at this, and we'll look at, let's hope we get a solid response in terms of the funding we get from the ministry, and from there we make those decisions and how we allocate those.
Thank you, Director Klein. And with that, thank you, Dr. Collymore, for putting this together and presenting to a board of trustees. We now move on to our next order of business, which is miscellaneous information. 12.1 student trustees update. Student trustees, please present your report.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to start with talking about the achieving, and wanted to note that this month the HCDSB had the honor of having, I'm really hopeful it's the 37th annual Student of Excellence Award ceremony. It was a beautiful night. There was a lot of effort that went into it, and you could definitely tell. The food that was there was crafted by the host school's hospitality classroom and teachers. The event was decorated very beautifully, so we like to thank all of the HCDSB staff for that, but also wanted to highlight how events like these and recognizing student excellence really push others to continue to do well. I know a lot of students heard about it and were asking. They were interested in what qualifies to be a student of excellence, so these events not only highlight the students that are already doing great, but also serve as a great motivator for a variety of students, especially due to the fact that it celebrated both elementary and secondary students. Similar to Director Klein's report earlier, but we are super proud of all of our first robotics competitors from the board. I know that Lauren, Isabel, and I all have a lot of friends who compete in robotics and are really amazed by it. So as student trustees, we wanted to highlight, as Director Klein mentioned, the various pathways that go into competing in robotics and how this is really a great event for students no matter what you're interested in, and we are really proud of all our victories and successes. And additionally, as many of our grade 12 students are looking at midterms and counting down the days till graduation, we just want to highlight how we're proud of the pathways they're on and how they've contributed to the HCDSB community with their time here, and are looking forward to all of the guidance they can share. For example, at our upcoming Senate meeting, we are having our more senior senators or grade 12 students pass down some advice to the incoming student trustees as well as our grade 9 and 10 senators, just because we feel like that knowledge, and especially in student leadership, is super important. So we wanted to highlight all of the great work that our senior students do as well. And I'll pass it on to Isabel for believing.
Okay, so you know, like just obviously going to school and all that, we always see constant effort for students to be supported in their faith journey. So actually at my school, we recently had the sacrament of confession, and I'm sure other schools held that as well. So other students were able to go into our chapel and participate in that sacrament, and it really helped them to grow in their faith and also get closer to God. And also along with this, so this happened a couple of months ago, but many of our schools actually kicked off their Relay for Life events and planning with the Canadian Cancer Society. So this is a really great way for students to support their community and raise money for cancer research, which is a really, really important subject in society because it affects really all of us in some way. So of course, by participating in fundraisers, you know, students are able to give back to their community, and it really teaches them how to spread God's message and really spread hope, which is in accordance with our Jubilee year. So as always, fundraisers are really important. And I really hope that this is something that students can continue to participate in. And yeah, so I'll just move it along to Lauren, who is online.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm online today. I'm not feeling well and stuff, so if my voice is a little shaky, that's the reason why. But I'll be taking over our belonging and becoming sections. So at our last March Senate meeting, our Student Achievement and Leadership Committee passed a proposal to reward students for their contributions in their school community. So every month, a student from each HCDSB secondary school will be nominated by their school's home Senate to receive an award based off of their contributions to the school community, such as extracurricular, athletic, or academic achievements. And then these nominations are forwarded to that committee, and then they choose a student for each month, and that student is notified that they received the award and stuff. So if they consent, they receive a online certificate, and their name will be read in their school's announcements to celebrate their achievement. So we are proud of all the students who will be receiving this award, but also of the Student Achievement and Leadership Committee for their efforts in this initiative. And yeah, and for becoming section at our March Senate meeting held at St. Thomas Aquinas, the Student Senate participated in a long-term planning session for the vision of the Student Senate in the coming years. They worked to create vision boards for what they wanted the Senate to look like. And they also used a software called Mentimeter to create word clouds that represent the Senate's vision. And to continue this planning, we had student senators continue this goal setting process within their school senates with a worksheet so that they could set feasible goals for their student advocacy. And this activity was a great way to encourage our student leaders to plan for the next school years and to further explore what student leadership means to them. And at this meeting that we have tomorrow, actually, that Sophia mentioned, we will be kind of continuing this by allowing our grade 12 students to provide some guidance and mentorship to our younger senators, which I think is a great idea, and we're very excited to do that tomorrow. Thank you. If you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you, Trustee McGuire. Hope you get well soon. Trustees, any questions for our students or any comments? Seeing none, thank you, student trustees, for presenting your report. Once again, thank you for bringing student voice to the table here. We shall now move on to item 12.2, OCSTA update. Trustee Ohun Chanada, do you have a verbal update?
I do. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So a couple of things. First, I wanted to raise attention to an email that was sent. There are some mandatory training modules that we as trustees and the Director of Education must go through. There's under 4 headings. One is mediation and conflict resolution. The second one is financial management and governance. The third is effective community engagement to promote student achievement. And the fourth is Director of Education performance appraisal. These modules should be available by April the 28th, but I want to bring everyone's attention to that it needs to be completed online by August 31st, 2025. So the end of the summer, 2025. There will be some live online webinars. The dates will be determined sometime next week. It says here for April 28th. So I just wanted to draw all of the trustees' attention to that. If you have any questions, please send me an email or clarifications, and I'll take a look for it. If we don't see it next week, I'll reach out to Oxta and see what's happening there. The second is that the AGM is coming up fast. It's next Thursday, Friday, Saturday out in Markham. That's where some of our hard work will be acknowledged as far as resolutions. New directors will be sworn in for some of the regions, so I'm looking forward to that as well. There's some really good breakout sessions next week. So those that are coming, it looks like it's really going to be a great AGM. And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Ohan Chandra. Any comments, questions, trustees? Seeing none, Trustee Ohan Chandra will send a reminder out to trustees somewhere in June and August. Mid-August for as a reminder to trustees to complete those mandatory sessions. That's important for all of us. So we'll send out reminders too. Thank you. Thank you for presenting your report. We shall now move on to item number 13, correspondence. There's no correspondence. Open question period. Director Klein, have we received any questions for the open question period?
No, Chair.
Thank you. We have not received questions. We have an open item, which is in-camera item number 15. We need to go in camera. We have board business to do, so I'll ask for a motion to move in camera. May I have a motion to move into camera?
I'll move.
Trustee Kelly moves. Looking for a seconder.
I'll second it.
Trustee online.
Agnew.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. We shall now move into camera. I will ask, please log off and log on to the in-camera meeting. Thank you.